everybody, this is the Post Movie Podcast. I'm Steve Head.
I'm John Black.
And we have a guest with us today, Meg Quinn, film critic with Gatehouse Media's Ipswich Chronicle.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us, Meg.
Thank you for having me.
And we are here to talk about a couple films, particularly, first and foremost, a film which I just saw with perhaps less than an hour ago, Bridesmaids. Funny movie.
It is.
It is.
Really.
It is.
And we're also going to talk about Hesher, the new Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I don't know what you call it.
Not a fucking
it is,
funny movie.
It is
I didn't see it.
It is a dreary and strange, but somehow I don't think it's a bad movie. I actually think it's worth seeing. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, yes we will.
And we're also going to talk about the new Will Ferrell non-comedy, Everything Must Go,
Saw it.
in which everything does. Yep. And then John and I are going to do Picks of the Week. Criterion just released something wild. I think it's, 25 years old now? Mm-hmm. Jonathan Demme flick.
It's older than most of the critics we work with.
True. So we're excited to talk about that. And John Lennon's How I Won the War. And to call it John Lennon's How I Won the War is
that's where the discussion begins.
It's not.
Poor Beatle.
No, it's really Richard Lester's How I Won the War. So we're going to be getting to that. But first, Bridesmaids, directed by Paul Feig, starring and co-written by Kristen Wiig. And man, this is a surprisingly good movie. And I want to say right off the bat that the studio knows this, and they've been screening it for a month. I mean, they have a lot of confidence in this film. So let's see what it's going to go places.
Yeah. What's it opening against this week?
Priest.
Priest isn't going to make more money. Yeah, no one saw Priest. The Will Ferrell movie's not going to make any money. Incendies isn't going to make any money. So
oh, right, Incendies.
This will be the...
yeah.
Incendies depressing. Let's make this a happy
that was
show.
Just... I didn't even think about Incendies.
All right, but let's talk about Bridesmaids. Meg, what's the plot?
The plot is Kristen Wiig stars as Annie. She's the best friend of Lillian, who's played by Maya Rudolph, her best friend in real life. And Lillian just got engaged, so Annie's going to be her maid of honor. But Annie's life is in the dumps. She lost her bakery, which was called
Cakes Baby.
And her boyfriend along with the bakery. They're both gone, so she's down in the dumps.
He's not gone. They're fuck buddies.
No.
I don't think they ever were.
Oh, is that
the guy that helped own the cake bakery.
Oh,
yeah, that's a character I think that just never appeared in the
Okay,
film.
but he's just
got John
backstory.
Hamm as her friend.
Well,
it starts out with a bang with John Hamm.
Right. Lots of them. And anyway, so Lillian also has another friend named Helen who's really beautiful and really wealthy, and so she wants to throw all the parties, the shower. Rose Byrne.
Yeah.
And so
she
Annie's
is
jealous of her.
all about the wedding experience.
Yes.
Above and beyond reality.
Over the top, totally, yeah. And so anyway, Annie's just having a rough time, and she's jealous for sure, but she's funny as heck because she's got the John Hamm angle, the friend with benefits, we'll call him.
Okay, we can call him friends with benefits.
Or you can call him what you want.
No.
Fuck buddy.
Okay.
As he refers to himself in the film.
Hey, fuck buddy.
But the thing is that there are altogether 5 bridesmaids, very funny women.
Oh, yeah.
In and of themselves. There's Melissa McCarthy and Ellie Kemper and Wendy McClendon Covey.
Reno 911.
There you go.
Yep.
And they're just a really funny cast. And
Who is the overweight girl?
Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, she is just terrific. Her screen time in this film is used really well.
Yeah.
Used really well.
She steals a lot of scenes.
Scene stealer.
But they all do. I mean, they're all such
in their
funny
way,
people. And they're not just funny women, they're funny people.
Well, that's Meg, you've got this quote written down by Joel
Stein, the guy from Time.
Really?
And he interviewed Kristen Wiig. Okay.
And he called the film a dude comedy with a chick flick plot, which I take a little offense to because it isn't a chick flick, and chick flick is a horrible label in the first place. But this is just a funny
kind of a jerk
movie.
So.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't want to just Joel Stein. I'm just saying. I don't agree with the chick flick plot. It's not a chick flick plot. If it were chick flick plot, as Wendy Clendon Covey said when she came to visit and talk to us in Boston a couple weeks ago about the movie. She said, you know what, it's not a chick flick at all, because in those movies, women are stereotypes and they don't talk like real people. And in this movie, they do. They talk about sex. They imitate body parts. They, they have a good time and they get down and dirty.
The getting together. It's more about a personal redemption, about her trying to recover from being really, really hurt, and then just letting that destroy her life. And it's about her, like, she is a mess, just a very good person, but also very destroyed, and she carries a lot of baggage with her, and she doesn't have to, because there are actually a lot of good people in the world.
True.
And I think Wig's character's name is Annie.
Yes.
I think one of the great things she does in the movie is Annie's angry at the world. She's really angry, but
she holds it in.
Yeah, but she's a nice person, and she's trying to hold it in. But when it bubbles out, the scene in the jewelry store when she berates that little kid, it's just the way that she lets the anger bubble out of her character.
That's a good point. There are many scenes in this movie that are about anger management.
Yeah,
and then when it comes out, the tennis court scene, the airport scene, the scene on the airplane, the tennis scene, just hysterical.
That is hysterical, because it almost is a parallel to a scene you would see in a guy's movie, which would be them hitting each other in the crotch with the baseball, right? The high-speed baseball, hitting them in the crotch.
Well, it's real. It's like it's how she feels, and it's funny.
Them across the boobs,
Yeah, any time that she's put in a corner. I just love the way Annie comes out. And you can almost see the struggle on her face, because she knows she shouldn't be saying this, but gosh darn it, it's time she did.
And then when she loses her mind on the Valium or whatever she's given on the plane.
Yeah, and a very strong drink,
things come out that she would normally hold in.
It's like she's rebelling against shallowness, against all the frivolous stupidness.
Well,
like she's all about her version of reality. Although it may be negative, she's like attacking just the uselessness.
Well, yeah, but she's also extremely jealous of Helen, the other friend there, who's throwing all the lavish, over-the-top parties for her best friend. She's trying to finagle her way into being the best friend of the bride when Annie's the best friend of the bride. So she's upset about that. It isn't just being upset about things being over the top. She's upset about her friendship with her best friend going south.
Right. I think a lot of women are really going to enjoy her character because she just cuts through the bullshit in so many representative ways. Like, if you paired this movie with Sex and the City 2, it just tears Sex and the City down. It just destroys it in such a good way.
Yeah, but I'll say this. Sex and the City, the first movie, was pretty good. The TV series was pretty good. And the thing about it that made it so great for so many women to watch was that it did have real conversations about real things that women talk about. It isn't like all the other sitcoms out there. And so then they made a movie about it, and it was pretty good. And it still went with all the four women in their relationships and their relationships with men and blah, blah. But the sequel was horrendous.
Yeah.
We saw it together. It was just the worst thing ever.
It just played on so many bad things. But I want to say the way this movie works is they put it together nicely. It starts with establishing the friendship that Annie's having with Maya Rudolph, and all of a sudden the inclusion of I'm getting married, and where things go from there. And then piece by piece you meet the different bridesmaids. And they all come together for a fitting of their gowns. But on that particular day, they have lunch at a Mexican restaurant, which involves itself in the gown fitting in a really sort of over-the-top way.
Well, let's just call it
a great scene in the movie.
A bathroom scene.
And all of their characters come out. It's like at that point they've thrown away any sort of inhibitions, because we've seen the worst of these people right off the bat. And so from there, it's like anything goes. thrown away the hook of a chick flick narrative because they've already established we're going to go this far.
Well, and the reason they went that far isn't just because Kristen Wiig co-wrote it and she's funny, but it's a Judd Apatow produced movie.
Yeah.
And he
Judd loves that kind of humor.
And he sure does. And he does it with aplomb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they play it well. I mean, I think wherever it's really, this movie is really about, you know, Kristen Wiig, of course. But then I guess if I would say that there's something that I would have liked to see more of was the women together on their mission, because when they're all together in those scenes, it's fantastic. But the side story, whatever we call it, the minor plot element here is the fact that she can't really trust anybody. She goes on these sort of soliloquies about, well, she works, what she's doing is she's working in a jewelry store because her real love, her real business had
Cakes,
gone under.
baby.
Yeah, Cakes Baby. So when people come into the jewelry store, they're looking for something that will represent lifelong love to them, or lifelong belief or commitment, or something
friendship.
like that. Or friendship, yeah. And she berates them
Right. She's
incessantly.
in a
But you
bad
just
place.
can't trust anybody.
Emotionally.
So she's a hurt person.
You know, that's one of the things that's, I mean, as funny as this is, and I think it's really funny, Kristen Wiig gives a great performance. What, Kristen?
Kristen.
Kristen Wiig gives a great performance. I mean, it takes a, you know, it's not just being funny with her. She's,
Oh, yeah.
the drama, you know, she balances, like I said before, you know, that look of anger bubbling just beneath the surface and all that is there for you to see. It's a great performance.
Yes.
You know, and then, but filled with zingers, no doubt, filled with
The
zingers.
words that escape her mouth when she's rebelling in her quiet way is pretty
Well, do
funny.
you remember in Paul? She was in Paul with,
Yeah.
That was great.
with
Simon Pegg, Nick Frost.
Right. And she played a religious woman who was discovering swearing for the first time, and she said the most outrageous
Yeah.
things. And is that just that thing where, and when we talked to her, we were talking about, you know, did you ever try to just make the other person laugh? Do you say stuff on set when they're ad-libbing
Right.
to make the other
You know,
person
it's-
laugh? And they're like, that's not what it's about. It's all about, you know, because they'll say something and they have to think, is that funny?
Well, still, there's the irony of something like beauty and vulgarity, you know, and the fact that she can say something a certain way, and it's probably going to be more funny if she says it because it's coming from her. You know, that's just the way she handles it, you know, the way she
Because
delivers
she's
the line.
so attractive, or what do you mean?
Well, partially. Yeah, it's part of that. It's because I think there's the expectation that because of the way she looks and her character, that she won't go there. So there's it's like a proportionately jarring or amusing.
But I think it also plays into the story, like when they're at the, when it's not the bridal shower, you know, the engagement party, whatever.
Yeah.
And she
When they
gets
first
it-
meet everybody?
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
that kind of mic duel
yeah.
between
Oh,
Helen and
terrific!
her.
Yes.
And I was just rooting, every time Helen says something, I was like rooting for Kristen Wiig to come up and say something more.
But she really couldn't. It's a terrific scene where they're
Yeah.
trying to appeal
One up
to,
each
you know, to prove that they are the most important. That she is truly the most important person in I forget Maya Rudolph's character's name
Lillian.
in Lillian's life.
Yeah.
And that Rose Byrne is just a shallow newcomer who's
But you
able
know
to
what's
afford
funny
something.
about that scene is it goes a little too far.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the
Delightfully so, yeah.
uncomfortableness of
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be done after
No.
the third zinger, and then they went
Right.
on to 4 and 5. And I'm like, ah!
What they have to say is
But
that
it was
important.
funny.
But it also shows their character, and either you know, Rose
Yes.
Byrne being really shallow or more worldly and cultured, and Kristen Wiig's Annie being more grounded and real.
And it shows that Annie will fight to the death
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Maya Rudolph's affection.
Yeah, and that, which reminds me, there's a good speech by her. What's her friend? I forget. her
Melissa
name.
McCarthy.
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy, where she basically kind of gives her balls back.
Yeah,
Says
she
you
does.
gotta have balls to get through life, and,
Right.
and that Melissa McCarthy's character was the metaphor for life. The way she was like kind of beating on her,
Right.
like I'm life, I'm beating you up, and you have to fight back.
I'm taking all the puppies.
Yes, it's weird when you think the most irrational person it comes up the most sensible stuff.
There's good pacing in it too. In the movie, the director did a good job because
Paul Feig.
Even though you want more of each woman, I think that's because they're such strong performances. But it's actually paced very nice. Everyone gets their own time on screen.
Limelight,
So that was because you need that with an ensemble. There's no hanger on here. There's no one who's just here to be, the third sidekick in the room.
Right.
Everyone has enough time for the comedy to pace, and it's nice to break it up because they do a good job. There's five really individual people up here.
And then Maya Rudolph is the sixth.
Right. Who the scenes with her and Kristen Wiig are just classic.
The movie doesn't fail.
Yeah, you can't fake
in
that
that
kind
structural
of chemistry.
sense.
And you said they were friends in real life.
Yes.
And so you can't fake that kind of chemistry between two people sitting on a couch just talking about stuff, whether it's ad-libbed or rehearsed. I guess they did, like a lot of comedies, they did everything as it was on the page, and then they went off page and just tried to be funnier.
Improv,
and the funniest line makes the cut.
I also think that her car, which is a total beater, is sort of representative of her life.
Like a little Toyota.
She seemed to get on in it okay, but the car was also her, in a way, her salvation. Because one element we haven't talked about is Chris O'Dowd, who plays Rose,
She's
the cop. And this is it's not her fallback. He's not like this fallback guy, but he's an element in this film that provides something true and real and trusting for her to.
If she could get out of her own way.
A trusting element
to
in
accept
her life,
it because he wants to be with her and she keeps pushing him away.
It's sort of a twist because in this movie it's the guy who represents purity in a way.
I don't think he represents purity.
He's a good guy.
He just represents a nice person.
Well, okay, purity in like in a filmic sense of just being naturally good, being funny, not being threatening, being someone that she can trust.
But he's the antithesis of John Hamm's gorgeous and very annoying jerk who just uses her from the get-go.
Yeah.
Does anyone do a better walk of shame than Kristen Wiig? Who has to climb over that fence and
that was a good one.
That is funny.
That was good. That was good. John, if you had to pick a favorite moment in this movie, what would it be? Meg, I'm going to ask you the same question.
A favorite moment?
Yeah. Because there is some funny shit.
Not just the funny stuff. I liked. I have a sweet spot for Jill Clayburgh.
Oh yeah.
And she plays Annie's mom.
Annie's mom.
So that scene where she sits down with her mom was just my favorite, and it wasn't exactly funny. It's kind of like this little heartfelt moment in the middle of all the comedy. But to see, I didn't know Jill Clayburgh was in it when she came on screen. She died, and I didn't know she'd done this. And when she came out, I was like taken aback, and then just to see them together was a nice moment. So that's my favorite. But nothing beats the bathroom scene.
Yeah, I gotta say, I love a good bathroom scene.
That was pretty raunchy.
When one girl throws up on top of the other girl's head, come on.
And somebody has to use the sink for a toilet.
Yeah,
that's where the movie releases itself from being rational, or going in.
And it's the same thing. It's the director. It's a bold move for a director because that scene could stop. And it goes, there's another level, there's another level, there's another level. Right. It's like when they do the microphone thing, a lot of the comedy here comes because he's like, no, one more joke piled on.
How many? Go ahead. I'm sorry, Meg.
After the bathroom scene, then you still have the bathroom scene continued in the street.
Yeah,
with Maya Rudolph in the wedding dress.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God.
Losing control of her bowels in the middle of the street in a wedding dress.
I can say I have never seen that before in a film. Never.
No, and that's a good thing because that's good comedy.
But does that? And then I think that's. I'm so glad it's women doing this because that is universal comedy.
Well, this is also.
Can I interject?
Yeah. Yes.
The Farrelly Brothers movie, Hall Pass.
Yes. With the poop in the.
They had. You saw that.
Yes.
They had a really bad bathroom scene that was gross and over the top. The explosive diarrhea.
Oh right. Oh yeah.
But it was also a bathroom scene that was similar things going on. But they did it in such a way that it was so not funny. It was just just gross.
Right.
But it was supposed to be funny. They were going for humor, and they missed it.
That was shock value.
Right.
Yeah,
That's just
but you were
it had
supposed to laugh,
Right, but it
even though
had
you were shocked.
nothing to do with any of the characters. This was just a
Yeah,
woman
right.
they picked up in the bar.
Oh my God, Melissa McCarthy sitting up on the sink was
Yeah, see that?
Oh my
It's just
God.
quality bathroom humor in
Yeah.
Bridesmaids.
The movie has great physical humor when they're trying to hide the fact that they're in their. Each one of them comes out in this scene. They're in the fitting room, and each one of them has a different example of their bridesmaids' dresses. But they're all trying to contain the fact that their stomachs are ready to explode. So the way it plays out on their faces is pretty amusing. And Kristen Wiig is the lone holdout.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, she's super sick, but she's just not going to give. Very funny. And I would add to the funny scenes the scene with Melissa McCarthy and the guy on the plane who she suspects is the air marshal.
That's a tough scene. With their leg across the
What else is she
threshold.
in it?
The whole
Well,
sure they put guns where you wouldn't believe.
Women will know her because a lot of women were fans of Gilmore Girls. She was on Gilmore Girls
Okay.
for 6 years. But right now she's on TV in a sitcom called Mike and Molly
I have no idea.
about two overweight people who fall in love and find each other at Overeaters Anonymous.
Wasn't she? I've only watched the Gilmore Girls because Star.
Who?
Lauren Graham.
Yeah. So I
Well,
watched
you
it
do
for
like
her.
the good
Oh,
looking
right.
ladies.
She's terrific. She's on Parenthood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that
yeah.
series.
She's well worth turning into the Gilmore Girls for.
The reruns. Sure.
Yeah.
On the WB.
But
or
yeah, I
something.
just think her comic timing
Yeah.
is just
Melissa McCarthy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Well, it's also funny when she tackles Kristen Wiig. You can't.
yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah. What really I think grabs you
Physical
in this
comedy.
film is she really hurts Rhodes, the police officer, Kristen Wiig, in thinking that she can't trust men. When she wakes up the morning after being with Rhodes and just does what she would have done had she been with John Hamm.
Right, but there's a guy
He
who
is-
made breakfast for her.
She's
Right.
destroyed him.
And not only made breakfast, he got all the ingredients to have her make something.
Because he
Right.
She
cooking
wants
was
to
important.
cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a way it's a metaphor. When she's cooking, her life is doing better. You know, and she, because of all the crap that's going on in her life, just totally sidelined that. She lost all her money in her store. And this guy was trying to, you know, he was right. You know, this could have come across as creepy, but it was just intended to be, you know, super nice.
Right.
And he blew it. He didn't know he was going to blow it. And she really frigging hurt him. And it got me to thinking about a quote from the movie Greenberg where, you know, hurt people. And she was so devastated by stuff that happened in her life that she was constantly, like, hurting other people. And
Yeah,
they,
but
to
you
the
know
point where they
what?
started to have to put up with it.
I don't think
You know?
she was hurting her whole life, though. I think she
No,
just
no.
went through a
No,
bad
a bad
patch
phase.
about a year earlier or something.
Bad patch.
Something like that.
That when she got to a certain point, you didn't think it'd get any lower, and it got lower.
Yeah. Well, can I say this about
Yes.
the...
No, Meg, you're not allowed to.
I'm going to say this. I've said this to you before, John, that, well, for the John Hamm sex scenes, she is, you know,
It's hysterical.
she's wearing lingerie or a bra or something. She's always covered.
Right.
And they're all doing crazy, funny things. And even when she wakes up, she's wearing something. But when she wakes up after being with Rhodes, she doesn't have anything on. She just has a sheet on. I find
Yeah.
that very interesting how they did that. Two different
And
takes.
she wakes up
You know
more
what I mean?
vulnerable
Yes.
because of it.
Yeah.
This movie comes from the guy who directed Unaccompanied Minors. So,
He grew up too, you know.
Paul Feig, man, he's a funny guy. I've read both of his books, Kick Me and Superstar. It's about growing up in the 70s and 80s in Michigan. Super fun. He's directed a ton of episodes of The Office and Arrested Development.
Must
and,
be where he got Ellie Kemper.
Yep, bored to death. In fact, Paul Feig has been directing, I think, at least not the last couple of episodes where Will Ferrell's been doing the arc on The Office, replacing
That guy.
God,
Steve
that
Carell?
guy, Steve Carell. How could I forget that?
Michael
It's
Scott.
easy. It's easy.
This is his film. It's terrific. So 3 thumbs up, I'm
Oh, yeah.
assuming.
Yeah,
Six.
and you know, it is something I want to see again. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I
I
will.
want
I
to bring
can't
all
wait
my
for Sarah.
girlfriends to it. It's
And-
Yeah.
funny as
Yeah.
hell.
I want to see it with people, but I also want to see it alone because laughing. There was so much laughing. I knew I was missing
Sometimes
stuff.
you miss,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the scene where with Rhodes, where anytime a guy thinks like that, it's
He really wanted
it's
to
pretty
help her.
golden. Yeah.
Yeah, it
You know,
goes a long way to
whether-
winning somebody's heart. But it
Yeah,
didn't work.
but then the way she wins them back by driving past them,
Yeah. Oh, right,
That's-
trying to get him to arrest them.
There's just to explain to listeners, Rhodes sits by the roadside. I don't know if that means anything. In his
he's
police
a
car,
cop.
and they meet because she was pulled over by him towards the beginning of the film. But after she really seriously disses him, and then she sort of realizes that she really needs his help, he's like seriously hurt, so he's not interested in really getting back in contact with her. But they can't help it because he's sitting by the roadside near where she lives all the time, and so she goes through these antics to try to get pulled over, and it's pretty freaking hysterical.
Yeah. And again, it's another example of, and I love this when comedy doesn't take the easy way out. See, how many times did you drive past? 5, 6, 7?
No?
Oh, I'd say 10.
20.
Yeah.
I'd say
and each
more
one
than-
is,
Look, I'm talking and texting.
yeah.
I'm topless.
Oh my
I'm
God! I'm
topless,
topless. She
No, I am.
does a complete spin out in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love comedy that doesn't rest on its laurels and challenges you to, doesn't take you as a complacent, whether it's the bathroom humor or the just two friends sitting on a couch talking about bleaching.
Yeah, let's.
Right. Well, I think a comedy that doesn't rest on its laurels. I think that sums it up.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Shall we move on?
Sure.
Okay.
Hesher, which
This
we
won't
saw.
take long.
No.
I didn't see it, so I'm
No, this won't take long. It's a dour film starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Rainn Wilson. It takes place. Oh my God, where'd they film it? In either North Texas or Southern California. I don't know.
Yeah.
some
but,
godforsaken place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's a godforsaken movie. It's about a father and son who are living with their grandmother, because his wife has just died 3 months prior, and Rainn Wilson is basically just living in a medicated fog. Taking the house is just a mess. He's living on nothing. I don't even know if he has a job, but he's taking antidepressants
and
every
Wild
day.
Kingdom on TV.
Yeah, and
That's
and
a
even
winning combo,
oh
yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah, and the grandmother is just like walking through life in a
Who's the
haze too.
grandmother?
Hyper Laurie.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
I was
goodness.
shocked. I was like, wow.
She's already a grandmother.
Yeah.
There is the kid in this movie. Yeah, I thought the same. The kid who I guess is 11 or 12 years old, Devin Broku, TJ.
Okay.
I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is a movie where you get the day-to-day events in his life, which are actually really. This is the pain of childhood, the pain of growing up, the pain of going to school every day and getting beaten on for no reason by other kids at school, and just making bad decisions and things getting worse. And it's also about hanging out with the wrong people. This kid TJ pisses this other kid off at school. This other kid is just like a terror.
Is he just an awkward kid? Is that why he gets
I
bullied?
think he's as depressed as his dad
Oh.
because
Yeah.
his mom died. And
Yeah.
He just wants to buy the car. Like, he
The
wants
car.
to buy the car his mom was killed in the accident. And like, he
It's
wants
gonna take him about,
he wants
like-
the junkyard to look at the car, and he sleeps in it, and he just
Well, yeah.
wants that car.
The auto dealer says that it's going to take $1,200 or something like that to get the car back, and so somehow this kid's got to put the money together. But then along comes Hesher, while TJ is running from this bully, who's, I guess the bully's got a reason to. I mean, the kid does some pretty jerky stuff. He runs through a construction site where Hesher's sort of holed up, hiding from the police, and he interrupts Hesher's living space, where they basically escape with this with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, just throwing firecrackers, M80s at the
The bully? Okay.
just to get on. Long story short, Hesher ends up moving into their house, into the garage, into their living space, into their lives, and everything this guy touches just is a disaster because he is a destroyer of things and people. He just wrecks everything that comes into his sphere. And Rainn Wilson and the kid are just so.
Did they expect him to be their salvation, and it didn't work out?
I just don't think
he's
they
the only
care.
person who's he's a threatening presence right from the start, but also he talks to the kid, whether it's bad or he gives the kid some attention, even if it's negative attention, which he doesn't get because his dad's in a self-induced medical coma and grandma is pretty much senile. And everyone else is beating on him. So this guy and this nut job starts sticking up for him, even if it means destroying, other property and stuff. Yeah.
So he's like a strange wild card to have on your side. It sort of reminded me of the movie. Remember The Bodyguard?
Yeah.
Adam Baldwin, the Tony Bill film from the '80s. It was, the weak kid at school all of a sudden befriending.
He's on Chuck.
Yeah. He, so he befriends Hesher, and Hesher is this. Basically, his hair goes down to his belly button, and he has a tattoo on his stomach of a stick figure blowing his brains out.
Lovely,
if I recall.
Yeah.
So TJ thinks that Hesher's going to get him off the hook with this bully at school, but Hesher just makes everybody's lives worse. And in the midst of this, TJ develops a crush on the girl who works at the Piggly Wiggly or something like that. Natalie Portman at the cash register.
Oh, well, he doesn't have a crush on her.
Yeah. John Strace.
Besides you, John.
Yeah. So there's a strange interplay here in where Natalie Portman is the one person that apparently TJ can really connect to, but then Hesher gets involved, screws things up completely. Literally, yeah. The guy is a vandal. I mean, he destroys the neighbor's yard. There's an interesting scene that takes place in a backyard swimming pool where he just sets the place
on fire,
ablaze. Yeah.
A pool. Is that possible?
Yeah.
I think the movie runs too long and it tries to be meaningful, and there are some moments that are kind of neat.
To say? Don't trust anybody. Don't invite anyone into your house.
Meg, that's a good question.
I spent part of this movie trying to figure out what it's going to say, and the rest of it I figured out I don't care what it has to say. I just thought it was annoying itself.
Stand up for yourself no matter what.
How's Rainn Wilson? He kind of annoys me in a lot of his roles, besides Dwight Schrute on The Office. Here
he is unshaven for most of the movie, except in a flashback that is very important, towards the latter half of the film, where you get to see what their life was like before this car accident. And
he's slovenly.
He's unkept, and that's the whole pacing of the film.
Do you think he was well cast for that?
I think so, but I think this movie falls into the category of It's self-important. It asks you to stay in this melancholy mode for far too long, and it doesn't really get out of it.
Doesn't provide a good resolution for you?
There's a moment towards the end of the film that I thought, this is what they're really trying to make a visual statement, with Hesher developing a relationship with the grandma.
Over weed.
But somehow, because, it's...
Yeah, she has medicinal weed, and he just gets high all the time, so they're immediately buddies.
Bonded.
And you'd think that he's just going to mess things up more, but then there's a few moments where some profound stuff leaves his mouth, and wow, the guy who messes everything up actually has a couple of redeeming things going around in his head. But it's mixed with the whole idea that at any moment this guy wouldn't care if you're dead.
Right.
He really wouldn't. So it's kind of a it's a heartless film.
So who's going to see this movie?
You.
I didn't even see the
you're the target audience.
I remember thinking this film is actually going to this is going to be very profound for teenagers.
Is it?
I think that a young crowd will look at this movie and think this is the shit.
Angst. I love angst.
Yeah.
Give me some angst.
Yeah. Here's a public service announcement.
Don't
go
do
see
it.
Bridesmaids.
It reminded me. Do you guys remember a film called Motorama?
No.
About the kid who is driving across it's like a 10 or 11-year-old kid driving across the country collecting these little alphabet things from different
sounds like
gas stations, so he can spell the word Motorama and win this $1 million grand prize. The hell that this kid goes through, to me, was reminiscent of the hell that TJ's going through in the movie. So those who've seen Motorama, maybe you know what I'm talking about, but that's sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 thumbs down.
Well,
I don't know, I'd video it, I guess. And then we
I'm
move
not
on
going to.
Oh, good. Meg, I hope that we have successfully convinced you not to see this.
You have.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Everything must go. Another one in the melancholy vein. I don't know how much time we can spend talking about this, but
Well, it's a Will Ferrell vehicle, and he drives me a little crazy in almost everything now. And I did not like this movie, and you did, John. I did not like it.
It's a story of a guy. He's a salesman at some corporation, but he's also a raging alcoholic who gets fired from his job on the same day that his wife leaves him, changes the locks, and throws everything he owns out in the front lawn. And he's just so deep in his alcoholism, he can't do anything but shut up and start living on the front lawn and just drinks. And the first time I saw it, it ripped me apart because I'm sober 15 years now.
Yay!
And watching this guy drink like he does in the movie was horrifying to me.
Yeah.
And I went back a second time. I still think Ferrell gives a good performance. It's one of his best performances, but the story just wanders all over the place.
It's lacking. It doesn't have enough to hold your interest.
Yeah, it gives him a kid who wants to learn how to play baseball. It gives him a neighbor who's a photographer who might be married to the same kind of guy.
Rebecca Hall.
Yeah, there's all these little subplots
Yeah.
that distract from the fact that this guy's drinking himself to death on his front lawn.
Constantly drinking.
Yeah. Oh, it's scary. It's scary to watch.
And there's some comic relief. The crazy neighbors next door, the S&M people.
Yeah,
Stephen Root, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I just love him.
But
But it's just not enough for me. I mean, I think Will Ferrell's a good actor. I do. I'm not going to say
he's trying to establish something
here. But it's not a very appealing, I don't know, plot or role to see him in.
Yeah.
It seemed like a similar character to the one he played in Stranger Than Fiction. But,
which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And I thought he was great in that.
But here it just goes too long in the melancholy.
Yeah, there isn't enough
moments of
keep you
happiness
interested.
when he hooks in. He's kicked out of his house.
Yeah.
After he loses his job first and fired kind of in a smarmy way, like Tom Cruise getting fired in Jerry Maguire, where the guy that firing you is just a complete asshole.
Half your
20
age
years
and
younger.
tell you he's doing you a favor by letting you go.
So he comes home, door's locked, can't get through the garage or through the back door, and everything that was his, that was in the house, is put on the lawn. Everything. So he basically takes up residence on the lawn, through rain or shine.
And then decides to sell everything, which is why it's called Everything Must Go.
Yeah, well, he's forced. He decides. I think the option is presented to him as like it's really not an option. You got to do it because the jerky lady next door has reported him to the police.
Right.
And Michael Pena, who plays the police officer who shows up on the lawn, or he's a detective, and says basically you've got 3 days.
He's also his sponsor.
A sponsor.
Yeah.
Which is
which is why he shows up, because the other cops were going to arrest him.
Right.
Oh, that could have been a hassling. That it could have been a tougher situation for him.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But you know what? Why didn't he just break a window?
Because last time he did it, he got arrested.
Right.
Right,
So
right,
can't you go around the back and break a window and
He
not
gets
have
into the
anybody
back
notice?
to stay with the fish. His wife raises
I don't get it.
Japanese koi.
You have to wonder if it was like he was just trying to make a statement to the neighborhood. Like I've got.
I think it's part of the thought process of an alcoholic. It's like, fuck it, I'll stay here.
Yeah.
He doesn't
He
want to
can't
make
help
the
himself.
effort to do anything positive. It's a lot easier to sit on your ass on a chair on the front lawn and just drink yourself to a stupor every night and, get attention that way, too.
And he does. It's like a stage.
Yeah.
Well, it isn't just that he, is locked out of his house. His belongings are thrown on the front lawn. He also has no access to money because somehow his wife cut off all their credit cards and bank account funding.
And his
which
phone.
I don't really know how that works, because the second you decide to get divorced, I don't think you can just say, all the money's mine, you can't have any of it.
Well, I think they opened up a joint checking account, and in doing so, he gave authority to allow either of them to put a stop on the account.
Stop your husband's account right now.
No, I think that it seems to me to be adding so much unrealistic stuff to the guy's plate. But realizing that he needed a bunch of bad things on his plate.
Right.
But, it
The movie
seems to be too much to me.
it meanders, and the relationship that he strikes up with the boy, who you said was Biggie Small's son.
Oh, I don't know if he's actually
No, the
Biggie.
Notorious B.I.G.
B.I.G. Yeah, that's
Okay.
Biggie Small, isn't it?
No,
Notorious B.I.G.
No, I thought they were two.
We're digging a hole here.
Three
We better
old
stop.
white people talking rap, yeah. Word. We're keeping it real.
And their conversations are so slow and pedantic. And
Do you know what
just-
though? Actually, I thought that was the sweetest part of the movie was that little kid.
Yeah.
Well, he's not that little, but whatever, he's 12 or 13.
Right.
Trying to get advice from this pathetic man living on his lawn about how to get along in the world with these horrible kids in his locker room. You know, just desperate for some male advice and
Right,
going to the
right.
wrong guy.
And then Rebecca Hall, who lives across the street, extends her heart to him. And what do you know? He rips her a new one. He just makes her feel horrible for doing what she's doing, you know. But in some way, you know, it's like he inspires her to make a change
But
in her
at the
life.
same time, he's in his own way, he's trying to help her, trying to warn her
Yeah,
of
don't
her
be like me.
future.
Your husband,
you know? Your
And,
husband
you know,
is
and
drunk.
he says that basically.
It's just-
That he yells from across
you
the
should
street.
get curtains so you don't have to look out and see
Your future.
Exactly.
But again, all that was it just seems so.
But still, it wasn't enough to
superfluous.
be
It wasn't-
a good movie.
Yeah.
To me.
No.
Yeah, I
And I'm not
can't
saying
recommend
Will
it
didn't do a
either.
good job. Will Ferrell did a good job, but who cares? I didn't like his character. I didn't like the movie.
It's like, do you think you would want anybody else to
Would I
submit to
recommend
this?
this to a friend? No.
I mean, it's just so. No,
But
You know, it's
on the other
depressing,
hand, if
man,
you're a
you know, for
huge
2
Will
hours.
Ferrell fan, if you love Will Ferrell, and you could stand to see him in the other guys even,
At
whatever that
perhaps
was called.
one joke per half an hour.
Yeah, then you could rent it, but I wouldn't see it in the theater.
This is going to play well at rehab centers, I guarantee it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was in rehab, they showed when a man loves a woman.
Did they show 28 Days with Sandra Bullock?
No, when a man loves a woman. What was that? Cold Sober, Clean and Sober.
Clean and
the
Sober,
Michael-
yeah, the Michael.
No.
Yeah. So they show
film.
those two, and
Love
then
Michael
they'll show this because they're all redemptive in the end, you know.
Yeah, you told me my preconception about the film going in was that it was like a Will Ferrell comedy, something
Yeah.
alternative. And you told me, Steve, beforehand, really, you just better kind of brace yourself because
I had
it's
no
not.
I didn't think it was going to be a comedy.
I had no
not-
idea it was even a Will Ferrell movie. I thought we were seeing something else completely when I showed
Well,
up.
right, you had it all wrong.
But what you said stuck with me. You said
You were wanting
you
to
were
see Cindy.
frightened.
Yeah.
You were like, when you saw what Will Ferrell's character was doing in this movie, put you in the fetal position. Just scary.
Yeah.
Because this kind of drinking changes people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it was also really disturbing about it was the fact that his boss my interpretation of him getting fired was the fact that his boss used his
Drinking.
weakness to fire him. Mm-hmm. He basically set him up, which was just like corporate world disgusting.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
like,
but that has to do with the backstory.
it was his Achilles heel.
Of him getting really, really drunk at that conference and doing something
happened.
And it
with
led
that
to other stuff, yeah, that
young
ruined his life.
woman
he's
at the
also-
office. But we don't know what happened, and it turns out
It's like
probably nothing.
you don't do that to people. You know, you're supposed to
Well, you do
you're
in
supposed to
corporate
be
America.
responsible and not go for the Achilles heel.
No.
Some people just don't have
In the
that.
corporate world, they look for a reason to let
well.
you go. You know,
Yeah.
and if it's that you've when I was I've had to take leave from work back before I got sober. You know, a week here, a week there.
Do you know that's
You know.
interesting that people put up with that? That
Yeah.
they didn't just let you go the first time and say no, you don't need to come back.
Because I'd lost my license.
No
People had to pick
offense
me
to
up.
you, John.
No. I understand that completely. But you know, I
But
had to get
bottom
picked up and
line-
draw. I was a reporter covering 2 towns without a car. You know, people would pick me up and take me to selectmen's meetings and
Oh no,
You know.
not selected.
yeah, and all that other stuff.
You have
And
to be drunk to go to
In
those.
fact, the fact that I was with the selectmen the first night I got busted for drunk driving,
Oh.
that kind of helped them, you know, decide that they would pick me up sometimes.
Yikes.
But I think I'd been there long enough, and it was a small community newspaper. It wasn't
Yeah,
CNC.
I'm just saying.
Where you're part of the cog in the wheel,
Right,
where
right.
they can use that and say, your work's not what it should be, and by the way, you missed 40 days for detox.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you saw it twice.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't see myself sitting through it twice. I don't think the message is bad. It's
Never.
redemptive.
To
But
be
it's
honest, I'm not
because
sure I
it's
saw it.
personal.
I didn't see it the first
The
time.
first time you were too afraid of it.
Okay.
You know, that's why I went back.
Yeah.
Because I was just so. I don't know. It was a gut punch the first time I saw it. I couldn't get past every time. To this day, when I'll be watching a TV show or a movie or something, and usually it's pretty funny to me. Someone will have a glass of wine in a movie. I stop paying attention to the movie. Not every time, but sometimes I just stop paying attention to the movie and I think about wine. I think about drinking. And then I come back and go, wow, that was
happened?
interesting. Yeah, and
What did I miss?
I've been enough, I have enough tools in my tool bag to think about it and, figure out what was going on. This time, his constant, obsessive, compulsive drinking.
Pabst Blue Ribbon 16 ounces are in almost...
Every scene.
They never leave his hands.
Was that product placement?
I have to wonder, because it was very
He wakes
evident.
up and shakes
Pabst obviously must have allowed this.
He wakes up and shakes
Go to the
empties to see if there's anything in there.
Yeah.
That'd be gross.
That's the
The
bottom
next
coming
day?
up to meet you. Yeah, but if it keeps you from shaking.
Well, then Rebecca Hall came over with the Valium, and I thought,
Yeah, there is a scene in the movie where he basically was drying out, and it
but
looked
how
very
does
painful.
Valium help you? Isn't that
Oh, it's just another.
just keeps you out of yourself?
I've had people who, if you've got it that bad where you've got the shakes and the DTs, you might need Valium just to, be able to stand upright.
Yeah.
But
Good
not from your
performance.
next door neighbor,
Ty Burr made the comment that nobody would leave Rebecca Hall living in a house by herself for
When
that
she's
long.
8 months pregnant.
Yeah,
No.
when she's 8 months pregnant. It's not
Yeah,
real.
again, the peripheral story here is just a mess.
Yeah.
But the core performance is what I like. So.
Well,
Good points.
we didn't talk about Laura Dern, but she makes a little bit of a cameo.
Yeah.
She has one scene,
Yeah.
and it's kind of a throwaway to me.
John, you're a Laura Dern fan.
Yes, I am. Yes,
Of
I am.
course.
It was a throwaway scene, but she's just so natural.
She has that ability.
But they also make her some kind of saving grace with long blonde hair that doesn't work. And she's another lifeline that's thrown to Will Ferrell that you can latch on here and be safe, and he really can't. He needs to get this
Save
under
himself?
control. Yeah, no one can do it for you.
I can't recommend the film. Good performance though by Mel. I can't recommend the film. Good performance though by Will Ferrell though. But
Yes.
would you guys thumbs up, thumbs down?
Thumbs down.
Yeah.
I don't recommend the film.
John,
But you
I'm
liked
thinking
it.
there's a
You can do
purpose
it
here with this movie.
Yeah,
There is.
Yeah.
So
I think it's what we're seeing, especially if you've had any
Addiction problem?
addictions or know people with it, or just to see Will Ferrell dig that deep into something, to me was fascinating. So, but if you only think Will Ferrell in comedy, you're not going to enjoy this.
Well, they also pitched it as comedy in the trailer,
Yeah.
and that's just not the case.
it's just
At
to get
all.
him in the theater.
Right.
Yeah.
Moving on, picks of the week. Did you feel like we totally exhausted the Everything Must Go? I think everything
Yes, I
went
think
on
so.
Everything Must Go. So, John, Something Wild, released by Criterion a couple weeks ago. Watched it a couple nights ago. This, I will admit, I saw it for the first time.
Really?
I kid you not.
Really? You back
I
in
loved it.
1986, Steve?
Oh, I was studying film at Providence.
Yeah. And what do you think as a first-time viewer of this?
I loved it. I was very surprised by the presence of Ray Liotta in his first film.
Isn't he nasty?
This is, just terrific. It reminded me of his Unlawful Entry flick with Kurt Russell. The same sort of, like, is he mean? He's just
he's
fucking
mean,
creepy.
he's mean.
This is not the Karina
No,
Ray
no.
Liotta, who's terrific. This is the other guy, man.
Yes, you are.
Terrific. Jeff Daniels, wonderful performance. Melanie Griffith, I think this is her pinnacle pre-Working Girl film.
Yeah.
This is really her. I think she got this after Body Double, maybe because of Body Double, and
Back when
she's
she would
terrific.
just do nudity.
Not
With
care.
Don Johnson.
And you know, the thing is, it's Jonathan Demme, and I'm amazed at the energy in this movie. The music, the photography, everything pops. There's so much energy on the screen.
I'm going to steal this DVD.
So much fun to watch. Jeff Daniels is really good.
Yeah, he is. He's a really. I don't give the guy enough credit.
Does he give an
But he
electric
really is terrific. Just like the back cover says, it's electric. It's electric. Or as he says, my life is fucked. You know?
The story is Jeff Daniels plays kind of buttoned down, kind of, I don't know what he does for a living. He's some kind of executive, and he runs into Melanie Griffith.
At a
restaurant,
yeah, and she's the kind of girl that, you know, if you're lucky, walks around once in your life, comes up to you and says, you know, let's do something fun.
You want a nooner?
Stop it.
Sorry.
Vegas.
I have not seen this.
She's like,
put that
I don't
on
remember
a loop.
it.
We put that on a loop. Not a nooner.
She is the wild thing.
Yeah,
you know, she's
she
like
is.
the one who's just like playing with everybody else in life. You know,
Something wild.
It's also another movie that's like consumed by commercialism, and she's like representative of it, and the way she dresses and all the stuff. That
1986.
on, you know? But she's also got this like her carefree attitude is actually kind of psychotic.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things that is great. Even though there's all this wildness going on, there's a sense of danger in everything. She could be borderline psycho. Her husband shows up,
but completely grounded when it comes to him. This is like maybe halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
I guess for anybody who's probably hasn't seen the movie, like I hadn't seen it, and most people have, so Jeff Daniels follows her down to Pennsylvania. They go on this crazy road trip, and they have a wild, sexy night. The next day, you'd think that it was over, but she co-opts him into posing as her husband to make her mom happy. And then part of this, and then as this goes on, there's also her 1976 high school class reunion, which he now has to go and pretend to be her husband, which causes these problems because her ex-boyfriend, Ray Liotta, ex-husband,
not even
shows up, ex-con, shows up at the... It's like he knows. The guy's just freaking evil.
Oh, he is.
And he knows that she's up to something. And the way it plays out with on the dance floor, in the scene where the Feelies are playing, terrific scene. This is the point where the tone of the movie changes. It becomes something that's like fun and uplifting. All of a sudden, the music becomes, as Demi says, we're going to heavy guitar here, and things get kind of bleak.
They do, and all three characters remain interesting as the change happens. You know, it's what Jeff Daniels does to win her back. Again, Ray Liotta, was this his first movie?
It was. He actually got the job because Melanie Griffith recommended him to Demi. They were in the same acting class. And he had looked at tons of guys, and it was like, there's some possibilities here, but she said, you got to see this guy. You got to test this guy. So he came in to test, and he blew him off the first time. It didn't work. Melanie Griffith said, bring him in again. Film this scene with him, and you'll see what I'm talking about in his eyes.
Yeah.
Ray Liotta, crazy eye is fucking, that's happening.
Yeah.
Crazy. I think they're sexy. But I always thought Ray Liotta's first movie was Field of Dreams. So cute.
Was that his first movie?
What was this?
So
this was
86. I think that was
86.
88 or something.
Yeah.
So you went from this to playing Ty Cobb?
Yeah, and then to a couple Martin Scorsese flicks.
Let's look it up.
And then there was Karina.
And Karina.
Which none
Beautiful
of you
film.
liked, but I thought it was good.
I loved it. No. This, what I meant was this is not Karina Ray Liotta, whereas he's a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
Terrific film. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm happy to say I saw that in the theater.
Karina?
Yeah. And recently saw it on demand last year. And boy, if it doesn't inspire a love for Bill Evans. But anyway, that's Karina. We're talking about something wild.
Right. Yeah, I would highly recommend this.
I do.
And again, I saw it when it was in theaters and loved it, and it's still so much fun to watch. Again, because it's such a strongly made movie. It's not just well made. It's strong. I mean, there's boldness here when and every time you think it's over, it goes on.
It's meticulously good.
And when Ray does a scene where Ray Liotta gets back at Jeff Daniels, the filming of that is shocking, but so cool.
It is.
Does a lot of this take place at the high school reunion? Or
No.
Yes, Meg, I must say, held up her hands to say, stop. Does this take place at the high school reunion?
Well, I need to know that just because...
Key scenes, yes.
You know, throwing people at a high school reunion is one of those mechanisms like throwing people together in a wedding.
That's kind of like, that's the Star Wars cantina for this movie. That's where you lift off into the other universe of this film.
I didn't know how you were going to bring Star Wars into it, but you did it again.
I brought Bridesmaids back into it.
You know, I could have said during the Bridesmaids review that Rose Byrne was in The Phantom Menace, but I didn't.
There you go.
But you did.
But what I'm saying is that things like weddings and class reunions and those things,
Yeah.
No, it's just
they bring people together that wouldn't otherwise be together in a movie scene.
Yes, and there is actually, because his life is going so astray, Jeff Daniels, he meets a guy that works down the hall from him. Now he thinks that this living lie that he's participating in is going to ruin his life back in New York. So there's that added somewhat.
There's also the class reunion and meeting the guy gives us backstory on Daniels we didn't have before.
Yeah. You know, what Demi does in this film is, you know, he's from the Roger Corman School of Filmmaking, and one of Roger Corman's principles is every character you cast, no matter how large, if they're on the screen for 1 second, they are the star of this movie. So all minor roles are important. Mm-hmm. So Demi doesn't cast anybody uninteresting.
Yeah.
All the minor roles are interesting. There's a cameo from John Waters, cameo from John Sayles, and so, the other characters that he cast on location who were friends actually provided elements to the backstory. They gave meaning to what's that piece of advice that Jeff Daniels gets from the guy. You know, something about fuck it. I can't remember what it was.
The advice?
But it was like, would you rather be a lion or dog? Yeah, something like that. It plays important, and I'm sorry, everybody, I can't remember what it is.
You can dub it in later.
I don't have a supercomputer for a head.
Oh,
There's one right here.
Contraire, Steve.
All right, man. Shall we move on? How I Won the War.
Yep.
Okay, I really know nothing about this.
This one, prepare yourselves. John, go.
Meg, what's on the cover?
Looks like John Lennon with his glasses.
Okay, what's that say?
That says John Lennon.
Okay. See that? What's on the back?
Looks like John Lennon.
And what's that say?
That says John Lennon.
What a piece of crap.
It says John as he throws the movie down on the table.
The only reason this is being marketed is
because John Lennon's name is on it?
He's in it for like 2 minutes. It's this wacky anti-war comedy from the 60s.
Surreal collage of battle footage.
It's surrealist.
Is that what I'm missing?
It's absurd and surrealist.
Yeah,
I don't think if you're not following, it's just not that funny. No, it's
not.
Is it long?
Is it short?
I almost said Mel Gibson. And John Lennon is only in the film for, 20 minutes?
Not even.
He's a private in the film.
It's like 90 minutes. But it's a Michael Crawford film.
Yes,
Michael Crawford. Song and dance man Michael Crawford.
Yeah. Mr. Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera, yeah.
That he's going to be he's a British Army officer who's charged with going into the battle zone and building a cricket pitch so they can play cricket.
Is it an hour and a half too long?
Yeah, yeah. It's just, and it might be that it maybe in 1964, 67. Maybe it was funny. I was 8.
Well, it's
probably what made me laugh.
I wasn't born yet, but there we go.
Yeah, I think it comes from the Vietnam generation, but they're actually lampooning just war in general, and the movie is supposedly set in World War II because they have these caricatures of the Germans that are, just jokes unto them. The whole thing is a joke. It's supposed to be a joke. It's not funny. Actually, the quality of the film is actually really good. It's an unfunny joke,
you're saying.
Very.
Yeah, it's a long, unfunny joke.
And it's surrealist. So, like, when you get somebody injured on the battlefield, has his wife come walking across the sand to come and comfort him while his legs are cut off and bleeding.
That's funny.
There's a sergeant who believes that he has real control over his unit, and he's looking forward to having every moment with you guys. So, just to
some of it needed to be subtitled too. They have some pretty heavy accents.
It was pretty deep.
Thing, so
deep.
I just didn't. I'm glad they sent it to me. I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad to be selling it.
Well,
that's right. You're glad to be selling it.
I spoke about this with Sean the other day when we recorded our Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas Meeks Got Up episode. We talked about this. I think that, for Beatle fans out there who are really sort of completist, and they've seen lots of photos of John Lennon, you know, in his military wardrobe here, and wondering where that comes from. I don't know how readily available the film was, so from a novelty standpoint, from a Beatles completist standpoint, it's interesting to see this. You know, you're like, that's John Lennon.
There's
John
your
Lennon.
hook right there, Steve.
You know, so...
Well, I think the first issue of Rolling Stone had a picture of John Lennon on the cover from this movie. It was like him in the military garb.
Yeah.
I have like
I think
Rolling Stone on DVD.
Taken out of context, one can say this is about like the Vietnam War, when which they're really parodying, like I said, is all war, and this is World War II. But you know, just the photos themselves taken out of context, this will provide some, you know.
And they heavily use like archival footage of battles. You know, so.
And I was surprised to see Roy Kinnear, Veruca Salt's dad from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, I missed that.
I will get that golden ticket for you, dear Veruca. You know, anything you want. Yeah, Roy Kinnear. He's one of the privates, I guess.
Why is this not rated?
I have no idea.
Is it horrible?
This is a very, you know what.
Lots of swears or nudity?
There isn't even chaptering on the DVD.
Oh. No,
it was like
this
you
was
just
quickly put out. It's like you had a feeling that it's either an anniversary of Lennon's death or something. They kind of like rushed this out.
It's a novelty
to make some quick money.
This, you know, the actual quality of the DVD, the movie itself, looked surprisingly in good shape, but it's a real bare bones effort.
Yeah.
All right.
So we are done.
We are.
Woohoo! Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks, Meg. Thanks for joining us. And hopefully we've achieved our mission in getting more of you listeners out there to go see Bridesmaids.
Yeah, it's great.
You can listen to all of our episodes online. We're at post-movie.net, and we're also on Facebook. So give us a like on Facebook. It's always nice to be liked. And we're also on iTunes. So subscribe and download. And if you can, I'll say it again, leave us a review, because that would be sweet and, you know, awesome and all that kind of stuff. And if you have any questions, send us an email. We're at contact@post-movie.net. So until next week, I'm Steve Head.
I'm John Black.
So long, everyone.